Hey everybody, it's Richie again. It's just update number 3 on the Styrene Syndicate's 48-hour marathon, which I'm also combining with Mutt Modeler's motorcycle group build. In this part of the video, I'm working on the fuel tank as well as the detailing the engine. And I'll start with the fuel tank. Fuel tank has very thin contact points for the two halves. Now when I put them together, I put my filler in, and being that it's so thin between these two halves, couldn't really get a good bond. So even though I filled it in and I sanded it, as soon as I would touch it, the two halves would like bend apart and the crack would reappear. So what I'm doing here is going old school. I put a lot of glue in between these two halves. Gonna let this set, then hopefully using the old-fashioned testers, the two halves will fill in, and then and give this a good solid joint between the two halves. And then I'll cut that off and put a little more putty if needed, sand it down, and then go for the paint. Like I said, I haven't done a motorcycle since I was a kid, so didn't realize that these two halves would be so far off when you put them together. But anyway, hopefully this glue, I put a lot of glue, let it oozed out, as you can see over here, and hopefully this will make a good bond, because like I said, when I glued it, and then I would fill it, and as soon as I touch it, it was so thin between the two contact points that the crack would just keep reappearing. So I'm going to go this way. This is the way I do it even with when I'm doing figures. So I'm doing the seams. Okay, also I've been doing some detail painting on the engine. So there's those carburetors. I got the plug points, boots there in yellow. Dry brushed all the engine cooling fins. And the dry brushing came out nice. Actually, the engine looks really good. Still not done yet. Just like I said, starting to work on it. I got backed up with this tank, working on this tank here. So anyway, hope you guys like what we're doing, and also I had buffed out that rear fender there. Did some wet sanding on that and buffed that out. And basically I just got to work on this tank. Okay, so anyway, this is the update. It went longer than I actually planned to, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing with this tank. In case you guys get this kit, like I said, the two halves, when you put them together, it's like a big gap in between it. They don't sit right, and it's very thin between it. So even it just doesn't stay together. As soon as you touch it, it bends apart and cracks appear in between. So anyway, hopefully with all this extra glue, it'll fill in and give it a solid feel to it, and then I'll be able to sand it down and prime it and paint it, and we'll be going again. Okay, so again, hope you guys like the update. Again, this is for Modeler's motorcycle group build, as well as the Styrene Syndicate's 48-hour marathon. And I'm doing the Kawasaki 750R. And I'll see you guys on the next update.